𝗩𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 nationwide campaign to eliminate violence against children. And representatives from RENEW, 𝗘𝗴𝗃 and 𝗂𝗶𝘲𝗃 have been in the field carrying out the campaign at the grassroots level. And today we have, along with them, we have someone from Bhutan Football Federation who have incorporated the campaign in their sporting events too. So I'm very happy to welcome all of you here. We'll start their introduction from 𝗂𝗶𝘃𝗀𝗹 from 𝗘𝗴𝗃, 𝗂𝗶𝘃𝗀𝗃 from 𝗂𝗶𝘲𝗃. We have RENEW from RENEW, and we have 𝗂𝗶𝘃𝗀𝗃 from BFF, Bhutan Football Federation. So thank you so much for taking this time out. You have been out in the field with the evac campaign for almost now 2 months more. So let's find out how your experience has been. We'll start with RENEW first.
Firstly, thank you for this opportunity. I just want to begin with giving thanks to all the Dzongkhag administration of 𝗘𝗴𝗃, regional head, sector head, 𝗃𝗴𝗃, 𝗃𝗶𝘀, and all the CVs, volunteers and also 𝗘𝗴𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗵 and 𝗘𝗴𝗴𝗃𝗀𝗵 officer who have took part in this event to kick off the event at 𝗘𝗴𝗃 Dzongkhag. So on 12th of September, we launched the evac camping at 𝗘𝗴𝗃 Dzongkhag, and there we basically just kept as an awareness program on ending violence against children, because we believe that it's very important to know what is going to happen in their Dzongkhag by the Dzongkhag administration head, sector head, and all the regional heads. So we have invited them to on awareness camping. Then from 13 to 14 we had held a 2 days training workshop, which is basically trainer of the training, kind of TOT to them. We have divided the firstly in the batch 1 we have 6 𝗘𝗃s, where it includes 𝗘𝗴𝗃𝗃 officer, 𝗏𝗃𝗃 and 𝗘𝗃, and the other collaborating partner like 𝗘𝗴𝗃 and 𝗂𝗶𝘃𝗃, where they have sent their representative as well. So there we have trained them on the ending violence against children, and we have covered all the thematic topic as well. So during the workshop training, what we have did is we basically focus on the video, because we believe that people learn more through the video and do the analysis. And second one is like case study. It really helps people to understand, and also like while doing the case studies, we divide them into group. Basically in the group, then make them to analyze, and then we basically state in the compared to their theory of Mandela and social ecological theory models, where they can compare and they can able to identify that at the individual level what they can do in order to prevent violence against children, and at the community, family level and the society level, what could have done in order to prevent violence against children. Then after that, we also let them to analyze the iceberg theory, which is very interesting one. So through through these theories, they are able to understand what are the main underlying causes of violence against children at their community and church level. So in this, so they are able to relate the causes of underlying root causes of violence in their 𝗘𝗃 and church level. So then the second batch was held at Served College, Kanglung. So there also we have a representative from 9 𝗘𝗃 representative, 𝗘𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 officer. Then we have 𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, 𝗃𝗏, and some drivers are also included there, because we think that driver can be also ambassador to convey the
in
message.
their community.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why we involve them as well. Then we have Dyson Focal from Sherbrooke College. We have 𝗲𝗶𝘲𝗀𝗶 coordinator, 𝗘𝗴𝗏 coordinator, then Robert coordinator as well. So now after the basically workshop went in the same way like I have mentioned in the first batch. Then after that, then now from there, now they will make their own, they have already made their own action plan that how they are going to roll out the evac camping in their 𝗘𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 level.
So now these are the trainees that you have trained?
Yes, exactly.
Wow, okay, all right. So I will go to 𝗘𝗴𝗏 here then. 𝗘𝗴𝗏, you were in charge, you were in 𝗏𝗀𝒃, am I right? Okay. So did you have a similar approach then? How did you go about?
So basically for 𝗘𝗴𝗏 it was like going for 𝗘𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 level. So we had two teams. One team went for like 𝗘𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and then other was for 𝗘𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. And one team covered like 7 𝗘𝗴𝗀s and then the second team covered 8 𝗘𝗴𝗀s. So our main aim was to like firstly advocate the 𝗘𝗴𝗀 officials, and then they will be going at the 𝗘𝗴𝗀 levels.
Yes. Oh, okay. And did you also have the videos there?
Yes, we had the same presentation like that.
Yes. How was the reception from the people of watching these videos?
They were, I would say that they were very excited first of all, and then they were also looking forward for more programs like this, and they said that it was better if we have more of these.
We have 𝗏𝗂𝗃 from ABS. 𝗏𝗂𝗃, you were in 𝗏𝗃𝗀? Okay, with 𝗘𝗴𝗏. How was your approach different from 𝗘𝗴𝗏's? Because ABS is focused mostly on children with disability, right?
Yes. So thank you. Actually, this evac campaign, Ending Violence Against Children campaign, is a collaborative effort amongst the relevant stakeholders. And we do have different target groups. And Ability Bhutan Society, in collaboration with 𝗍𝗀 Vocational Training Institute, we have completed the community engagement program in 𝗏𝗃 districts of the 3 piloted districts. And we were basically focusing on families and caregivers of children with disabilities, but we were also quite happy that families and caregivers of children without disabilities, they also turned up to attend the community engagement program.
Yes.
And also, I think since ours is a one-time program, we tried to do data analysis as to see where the highest number of children with disabilities are in 𝗏𝗃, and we found out that 𝗍𝗏 Gyok has the highest number of children with disabilities. So we conducted the community engagement program there, and there were around 65 plus families and caregivers of children with disabilities and without disabilities also. And since 𝗍𝗏 is a special educational needs, 𝗍𝗏 is a school with SEN program, special needs educational needs program. I think the teachers, the special educational needs teachers, they also took part in the community engagement program, and also the students with disabilities themselves, they also took part in the community engagement program. And we sort of had inclusive participants where we have families and caregivers, teachers, students with disabilities themselves, and it was really an engaging program where we got to discuss about violence and the consequences of violence if we do not intervene. So it was a very fruitful workshop session.
I want to ask my next question to 𝗏𝗀𝗀. How did Bhutan Football Federation manage to incorporate evac, the whole campaign, into your mandate or agenda?
All right. We were very lucky, in fact, because we were campaigning on a similar project, which is the child safeguarding policy, which is a very mandatory and one of the top priority of Bhutan Football Federation at the moment. So it goes hand to hand with the evac campaign. So we were promoting that. It's been almost 2 years since we've been implementing this child safeguarding policy, because we understand there are a lot of the problems, even in the physical harassment, sexual harassment, or the emotional harassment. These are the major 3 harassment that's happening in the sports, and which has not been reported or officially counted for. So we were doing sort of a lot of campaign on this. We did a lot of sensitizing and advocacy to football, and football is one of the most popular sports in the country, and the medium that it has is very powerful in the country. So the advocacy plan that we had planned through social media, football tournaments, schools, also national teams and women national teams. So we had a lot of avenues to promote that. So when we were approached by UNICEF to join them on this evac campaign, I was really happy. I was saying, okay, this is what we wanted, and I was very gladly we joined it. And at that time, we have right now, it's currently happening also, we have this high school tournaments, which has been held in 18 districts. So we kicked off with the high school tournaments, which involved almost 600 students in 18 districts, so which was a very bigger platform for the evac campaign to launch, because football is played by the youth, especially for girls and the boys. So this was incorporated in the high school tournament, and then after that, I think we needed more platform, bigger platform to audience, not only to the youth. I think the parents or the caregivers or the crowd or the supporters should understand the importance of what the child violence is. So we started our campaign with another big tournament, which is the Bhutan Premier League, which is one of the biggest tournament in the country, still ongoing. So we started the campaign with Bhutan Premier League also, whereby we had a pledge whereby we end the violence against the children. So a lot of online digital strategy was drawn, and we started with a lot of campaign. And I thought it was not reaching to the crowd, that to the targeted audience that we wanted. So I started with the national team now, because our women national team was going to Nepal to play the 𝗩𝗶𝗀𝗹 championship. So we campaigned with them. We started with the under-17 national team, who was going to Sri Lanka. Then we started with the Bahrain under-20 national team. So I think now the people is getting the gist of what the evac is all about it. And I personally feel that it shouldn't be a 1-year campaign or 2-year campaign. I think it should be lifelong, and Bhutan Football Federation has made the pledge and will make a pledge that it will continue for the coming years.
When you say you have managed to adopt evac into all these different avenues of sporting, that involve children and women, more like girl child like that. What do you do about it? I mean, how do you disseminate the information that you have to give out? How do you go about it?
So the first thing is the social media is a very very good tool. So what we do is we get materials from UNICEF. So we made a video also, awareness video, whereby Somtenzin is one of the popular actor in the country. So we made a video like for him to say on that, so advocate on that, so what not to do, what to do, you know. So basically what there's a do's and don'ts that we footballer in the footballs we follow, like there's the good touch and the bad touch, right? So there's a way for even for the referees, or even for the coaches, or even for the parents, spectators, when there is a tournament, especially for the kids, where the tournaments, there's do's and don'ts for the kids, for the parents to follow. So they can't yell at the other players, even if they're losing it. The coaches can't touch or can't shout at the female players. So there are a lot of do's and don'ts that we advocate on them. So right now, what we have really started is, it was very on the initial stage. So what we are doing is we are going down deep by doing workshop or training seminar for coaches, for the referees, especially in 20 districts, 18 districts. It's very difficult. Like I said, in Thimphu it's easy because it's the capital and people are aware of these subjects. They know whom to call, they know whom to approach. But especially when you move out of Thimphu, from the urban light to, if you go around in the different districts, this is where the bigger problems are, because the schools there, students there are very scared of teachers, right? Or to the parents also. And the teachers or the schools, teachers or the parents are not really advocated or educated on this subject. They think it's their rights or something. They think it is, okay, this is 𝗘𝗴𝗹𝗶𝘀𝗵. So there are a lot of advocates. I think we've been focusing on advocacy, what not to do, what to do. So now we haven't started with the grassroots. We slightly jumped to the decision makers, the caregivers, the parents, the coaches, teachers, so that they understand what to do or what not to do, so that they can tell their students, okay, this is what we have learned, so this is what we should not be doing. Yes. So I think it was very important approach from our side, because it's very different approach from their side, from the other CEOs and other partners, because they have started from the grassroots. From ours is we started from the top, now we're going to the down.
Wow, okay, all right. I mean, it's been now almost more than 2 months since we kicked off the campaign, and I think this is a good time, and you have been out in the field into the 3 dzongkaks that was initially assigned as pilot dzongkaks to try this campaign out more. This would be a good time to look back and see, talk about the challenges we've had when we were out into these dzongkaks, respectively Samtsi, Tashigang, and Thimphu. So let me ask again, what were some of the challenges?
So mainly our biggest challenge was language. While being in Samtsi, it was we had to like speak in Dzongkha and also like translate everything in Hosam also, because most of the people were like comfortable in Hosam. So our team consists of 4 members. So we basically had to cover each other. One had to like speak in Dzongkha, then other has to like translate this same thing into Hosam. And then so basically our main advocacy was to make them understand. So it became I would say language was the biggest challenge.
Oh, okay, all right. What about ABS and Renew? Did you have any different challenges than that?
Yes, the number 1 challenge I think is medium of language. It's obvious, and since we are targeting the families and caregivers of children with disabilities at the community level, I think most of them are not educated, and then medium of language was a challenge. And number 2 could be acceptance, because most of the parents or caregivers, they don't tend to accept that their children have a disability, and then that will again prevent them from coming forward and attending such workshops. And number 3 would be the geographic terrain. You know, as we know, Bhutan is a mountainous terrain, and then these villages are scattered, and they had to come all the way to, you know. So I think the lack of transportation and then geographic terrain was also a hindrance to the families and caregivers to come forward and participate in the workshop. And also, you know, families, generally when in a family, when they have a children with disability, they seem to have low self-esteem, and then, you know, I think they feel that their children with disability doesn't have a right, but which is actually not the case. I mean, when we talk about children, we mean every children, irrespective of disability or without disability. So I think they need to understand the fact that their children's right is also respected as par with children without disabilities. So I think these are some of the, you know, because of that fact, they seem to have low self-esteem, and they say that, okay, well, my children have a disability and they would not be able to do anything in life, so what's the use of, you know, doing this or doing that? So I think these are some of the challenges we have encountered.
There's a general sense of hopelessness or pessimism surrounding children, especially when parents finally admit that they have their child living with disabilities. I was wondering if there were any sorts of reluctance, especially accepting that Bhutan is now going to embrace the idea of non-violence with children, because culturally, we've talked about this in our previous interviews also with this similar same stakeholders, about how the country might not receive it well, the elimination of violence against children, because we are so used to treating children like they have half the rights that we do, right? So did you have similar challenges?
So as mentioned by Tarayana and ABS, we have also a language barrier, because the very fact is that our package is mostly in English, and there are some of LGs who cannot understand the English, so there's like kind of any barriers. Then second thing is like I just want to mention that in the Tashigang Dzongkak, because some parts are very remote and they consider that neglect and emotional violence did not take it as consideration. They are thinking that it's not kind of violence, because they only consider that physical violence, physical abuse and sexual abuse is only the type of violence. So
emotional and neglect, they don't take it seriously.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I see.
Because they think that whenever we report the cases, we have to show as evidence, right? So in the physical and sexual, there is the evidence, but whereas in case of emotion and in neglect, there won't be any evidence. So they consider it as easily, and everyone has a those who are emotional abuse, they are not considered as the victim of the fact.
So how did you go about it? I'm curious now.
So in this case, firstly, I was also very surprised to hear that, because we say that Renew especially reached to all the Zongkak, where we have a city's volunteer and we are addressing all the kind of issues and advocating, but people still think that this emotional and neglect are not type of violence. They are thinking that, and when we are talking about it's also considered as one of the violence, then they are also like kind of they're giving kind of like a reaction to this. And at the same time, one thing is that survivors don't report the cases usually in the remote area, because they think that if they report the cases, then their perpetrator will take taken action, then it will record to the so-called NOC, then which will hamper to the children in the future. So because of this worry, they are not reporting the cases in this.
So the victims/survivors are worried and actually concerned for the perpetrators' well-being.
Yes.
Wow. That's empathy and compassion on another level more.
Yes.
Wow, okay. Finso, what about for BFF? Did you face challenges?
Yes, we are still facing the challenge. First thing being the social hierarchy that we have. Second thing is the professional ethics that they have to balance between the discipline and being a professional. Third thing is the cultural differences that is prevailing in other districts. Fourth thing is the tradition that they follow. And the fifth thing is the fear tactics that they have. So these are some of the challenges that we are still facing, we've been facing. If I may explain, see, football is a physical sport, it's a contact sport. So there are a lot of the coaches needs to discipline the footballers, the students or the players, right? What happens is they don't understand by disciplining and being the punishment. So there's one thing that we are still advocating on it, and we still trying to tell them that the differences between, okay, this is how you have to discipline. So there's challenges whereby, because some of them are very old school, I have to be very frank, old school especially, because we don't have all the coaches that has been trained by BFF. Because we have this licensed coaches where by BFF gives license to coaches, like C license, B license, A license, the hierarchy of the coaches. So what happens is, as they go up, so there's a lot of exam, or they need to understand the safeguarding, the child violence, all this harassment, the package, full package of their understands. But which is not enough for us to reach on 18 districts, because we have to use other coaches, which is provided by the Ministry of Education, especially Department of Youth and Sports. So there are a lot of challenges in that area, particular area, because after some parents, it's top down for them to use. Yes, I have a right over my parents. I can scold, I can beat them up. I can scold them if he's not playing well. I can beat them up. Why not? I've trained him. I've invested so much money on him. So they don't understand that, because it's a violence against them. Now the challenge for us really is to advocate, to make them understand that there are rights. Even if she or he is a footballer, she has some rights. The rights we provide. We have to end this. Otherwise, I think it's be very similar how we are back and how we are now. So I think we have to advocate, like strongly advocate, aggressively advocate on what is child violence, what is a safeguard, how to safeguard the children's rights, and also on the evac, how to go about it. So I think advocacy is one of the big challenges that we are facing right now. I think that's...
Yes, and I think this is great that we have various stakeholders coming together with the same goal of ending violence against children. In lieu of that, I want to ask my next question, which is, like Finso rightly pointed out, it shouldn't be a campaign for a year, a campaign for a few months. It has to be a lifelong pledge. It has to be a lifelong commitment. What are our plans hereafter now? So let's say we wrap this interview up. What is the plan for Thariana going back now? Are you going back to the same district, and what's new?
So after this, we are planning to we have a seed money, by which the Gewak administration would carry this out at the Chiwak level. So before for the current campaign, we had 5 members coming from each Chiwak, and also the Gewak administration, they were really helpful. The GAP, the Mangmi, the Sokpas, they were all included. They participate in every program. So and they also helped in like translating the presentation for the participants. So right after this, they will be carrying it out at the CHUOK level.
Yes, okay, thank you. What about ABS?
For us, our objective is to orient and brief families and caregivers of children with disabilities so that they know their responsibility in ensuring that their children are protected from violence. So, but as I mentioned earlier, this 𝗣𝗏𝗀𝗃 campaign is a collaborative approach from the relevant stakeholders. So, and then Renew, and then 𝗏 and 𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃, so they will be implementing the community engagement programs very extensively. So though we cannot cover all the GEOCs of the 3 piloted districts, I think they will be taking the package where they will also include disability factor.
Okay.
Because if you see the reports, I think children with disabilities are very vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. So I think in that perspective, we need to be really working together. So I think we have also requested them to take the package, include the disability factor in their package when they take it to the GEOC levels. So I think this could actually cover families and caregivers of children with disabilities in all the GEOCs, though ours is a one-time program. So, but we will be only focusing on children and disabilities where we have higher number of children with disabilities, so that they know, as a parent, as a caregiver, they know their responsibility, and then they respect the children's rights and ensure that their children are protected, and so then not think that children with disabilities doesn't have rights. So, I think we have to really make families and caregivers understand that.
Yes, okay. Renew.
So as mentioned by 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃, we also have a seed money to roll out the camping at GEOC and CHUOK level. So in this now, some of our GEOC has already started, some of the technical GEOC has already started the rollout camping at their GEOC and CHUOK level. So in this case, what we have decided is that by now we have trained 120 TOT trainer of the training leaders, CVS volunteers, youth coordinator, and also now they are mobilizing the training as well. So in this case, they have in their action plan, they have also mentioned to provide the 𝗣𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃 camping to the caregiver, ECCD facilitators, and where they will, I think, it will cover up any people with disability as well. So our plan is same as their one.
Yes, okay. Finso, what about BFF? You've already implemented with high school football. You said high school, right? Yeah. And then there was the premier, then women's team. So what hereafter now?
No, this will be a lifelong campaign for us, because like I said in the beginning, it is one of the top priority for Bhutan Football Federation to have a safe environment for all the children, those who sick, who has a future to play football, who are or inspiring or aspiring to play football. So this will be a lifelong campaign for us. We will continue to advocate we'll continue to implement the safe sport safeguarding policy in all the schools, all the districts. So right now we have reached only 70 high schools. So by next year we should be targeting about 300 to 400 schools. This is my target. If I can reach 300 to 400 schools, that will be a big achievement for us. Likewise, we will be doing a very special program whereby we are inviting 20 most remote schools in Thimphu.
Yes, wow.
So this has been not really funded, but it has been supported by Bhutan Football Federation. This is a president's initiative, because our president is one passionate president who wants this to end very fast. And so we are targeting the 20 remote schools, especially from Sakten, Laya, from Gasa. So there are schools that we have not reached, because I don't think our Facebook or our Instagram or our WeChat, anything can reach to them. So I think we will bring them here for 5 days. So this is one of the special programs that we are doing it, but our main focus will be covering all the schools in the country, and this will be the lifelong project of Bhutan Football Federation, whereby we have made the pledge and we will still continue to do it unless we feel that the environment is really safe for the children.
There's a lot in the pipeline, a lot to look forward to, a lot to work.
This evac campaign should not be a one-time campaign. Like, it should go on for longer period. So for ABS also, we actually usually have outreach programs in other districts beyond Thimphu. So we also have committed that we will include this evac aspect in every of the activity that we conduct in the outreach programs. Wow. So I think that will also continue its sensitization and any awareness program. It will continue.
Yes. Just to add on this, so in Tashkent Zongkak also they have also mentioned that they have their parenting program, right? So in this program, they are also want to club the package of evac and give awareness program.
Okay. Thank you so much. So with this, we wrap up the episode, and I'm very glad to find out that so far the campaign at the 3 different Zongkaks, the piloted Zongkaks, are going well. And in addition to that, we have Bhutan Football Federation that has successfully managed to educate and advocate about elimination of violence against children, amongst children and caregivers and parents. So thank you so much for your time, and we hope those of you watching this show at home enjoyed and learned a lot about the importance of ending violence against children. We have similar episodes where we talked about ending violence against children and the whole purpose, the main purpose we began this campaign. And this is the prior episodes are all uploaded on YouTube, so do watch it and enjoy it. With this, thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.